At this point, we're ready to start our installation of PINet. I've logged into our VMS machine, that's going to become our PINet node, as the system manager. There's a couple of ways to install PINet. You could install PINet from save sets, installation media, that you've copied to the hard disk. This may be the case if you've had to FTP the files from a PC that happens to have a CD-ROM in it. This particular machine we're working with has a CD reader, so I'll be able to use a VMS command to mount the CD. You can find instructions on how to mount the CD and a brief set of notes on installing the PINet software in a file that we're going to show in a minute here. So this command here, mount with override equals identity, media equals CD-ROM, undefined, FAT is fixed, none, and a block size. This is very important, 9216. And the name of my CD drive is DKA 400. When my drive gets mounted, it tells me the name of the media that's on there, and this should match the information for your site. So this is OSINW training. My Pi server serial number is 3544, and this is VAX media. And if I do a show device D, I can now see that the status of my DKA 400 drive has changed. It now shows mounted, allocated, write locked. Allocated means that it's a private device, so the users on the system can't access the CD while I'm using it. If I do a show device / full DKA 400, I'll get more information about the drive. And here we can see that this is a Sony CD drive, and the format of it is ISO 9660. The ISO 9660 format is why we use this undefined FAT, fixed, none, and 9216 set of qualifiers on the command. I should be able to type dir to see what's on the root of my disk. DKA 400. And this is typical of what you'll see of an installation disk for PINet. The critical pieces we're working with here are the A and B save sets for the PINet installation. This happens to be PINet version 2.3 that we're going to work with. You'll probably have a newer version, 2.4. And this is the C save set from the PINet installation kit. On the CD is a file called readme.win. This is really a text file. It was created with Notepad, but for some reason or another this file looks like gibberish when we try to edit it on the VMS system. So if you want to work with this file, take your CD, put it in your PC, copy it to your disk, and then use Notepad or something to view it, as I've done here. So this is what the readme win file looks like. Basically a description of what's on the CD, note about what versions of VMS we support, mention that there's system management tools on the CD. I believe I mentioned earlier though that the system management tools that ships with the PINet and Pi 2 server are not the latest and greatest for your Pi 3 system, so you wouldn't want to use those. And then we've got shortcut instructions. This is very, very brief on installing the Pi or PINet software. So here's the mount command I used with all the commands spelled out fully, no abbreviations. An alternate way to install this is to take the CD, put it in a PC, and FTP the files to your PINet computer. If you FTP the files to your PINet computer, FTP is going to damage the files and we'll have to perform a reblock operation. And the way to correct the blocking of the files or reblock it will be with this set file / attribute command you see here. And you want to do this for each of the save sets you've transferred from your CD to the VMS system using FTP. In this case, the command shows the A and B save sets only for the PINet node, and the version that we were working with is PINet 2.2. So again, you'll probably be working with PINet 2.4, so your save sets will probably be named something like this: PINet 024A and PINet 024B. I'm not going to save my changes here because they're on the CD and that won't be fun. continue with the installation, OSIsoft uses a VMS Install kit technology. VMS Install is the setup or installation program that comes with the operating system, and you can invoke it like this. So the name of the utility is VMS Install with one L. It's in the sysinstaller update directory. You need to pass some parameters to this. The first parameter will be the name of the product you want to install. In my case, I'm installing PINet version 2.3, so the product name is going to be PINet 023. Next, you need to tell me where the kit's located on disk. And I'm going to install this from the CD, so the CD is DKA 400. And the 6 zeros in the square brackets here, this specifies the root of the CD, which is where these files happen to be located. It's necessary usually to specify the root of the CD directory explicitly rather than just specify the disk name. If I hit return here, this should start the installation process. There'll be some questions for us to answer. First of all, this comes from VMS Install itself. We haven't executed any Pi software yet. Am I happy with the backup of my system disk? And the answer here should be yes. The disk where PINet gets installed and the operating system disk, full backups of those, are the only way that you'll be able to undo or recover from a failed installation. So the backup's pretty important. So I'm going to say yes here. It then tells me which products are going to be processed, and this information comes directly from the installation kits. So this is good news. I've actually been able to reach out and find the installation kit. This causes the A kit to be installed and the instructions found in the A kit executed. So you can see that we're checking the VMS version, we're checking VMS accounts, we're creating a user account for OSI Tech Support. This account is initially disabled. We're also creating a Pi server account, so you can use system management tools to monitor your Pi server. And we're also listing the UIC code that got created for this Pi server user account. Next, we check to see if this is a new installation of PINet. The same kit that we use for upgrades can be used for new installs and vice versa. We want to make sure this is a new install instead of an upgrade. If this is not a new install, the installation kit might accidentally overwrite files that are important to us. In our case here, this is a new install, so we want to answer yes here. Again, I could save myself some typing just by hitting the return key, because the item enclosed in square brackets is the default choice. And we ask you again to make sure this is a new installation of PINet. You might have had a pad laying on the keyboard or clicked on the mouse or hit the return key a couple of times too many. So we put this extra question up to make sure that we don't accidentally proceed. Then we check system quotas, and we see here that I've got some issues. Let me scroll back up here a moment. Some of these information messages come out as I guess I'll call them warning or status information. The I items aren't fatal, they aren't required, but they're recommended. The error messages that come out here with F are required, and so this will have to be fixed before we can continue. If I hit yes here, or actually hit any return, I accidentally clicked and copied my clipboard into the buffer here. This is going to verify the system account information and continue. And then it bailed out because the installation failed. So I guess I have to fix these problems by hand. Let me start this again. And we'll do it right this time. So yes, I'm happy with my backup. So hopefully you see from this the errors are recoverable. Yes, this is a new installation. Yes, I'm sure. Same messages I saw before. And this time I'm going to let the VMS Install Kit do an automatic sysgen or autogen for me. So I'm going to say yes here. We're going to edit a system file called modparams.dat that's in the sysdollar system directory. And after editing this file, then we're going to execute autogen. Autogen goes into about 4 places in VMS where operating system parameters are saved or calculated from. And some of this information includes feedback or experience based on how the system has been operating. These are used then to collate together a set of system parameters and create a new set of boot files for the system. It's possible that a system parameter will be documented in more than one place, so it's possible that we'll get some warning messages here saying that there were duplicate entries. And what we want to do is make sure that the entries we find match what we're expecting to get for the settings we need for Pi. So I should have kept the list of the warning messages up above, or fatal error messages up above, so I knew what the settings needed to be. When autogen completes, there'll be a log for us to look at, and that's where we'll begin with the next part of our lesson.